Is Cursor just for developers? You've probably heard of all the crazy power that can come through using software such as Cursor. But I've been using Cursor for the last 6 months without actually writing code. I've not done any LeetCode training. I don't memorize any syntax, and there's a growing number of people doing this. If you're using no-code tools but you're not sure whether you can bridge the gap, if you're worried that you don't know version control, dependencies, or how to use a terminal, then I was in the same situation you were. So in this video, I just want to give a perspective and way of thinking about how you can use these tools, about how a growing number of people are using these tools. So if you're curious about how that works, hopefully this video explains how I got to this point where I can use Cursor to build full stack apps, and how if any of these paths resonate with you, or you've got experience, then you could probably also get to this point as well. So there's a few separate parts here. First step is messing with website builders. Some years back now, but messing with website builders like WordPress, using themes, using builders within WordPress. Eventually I learned Webflow and got pretty deep into it and did a lot of freelance work and work at companies in Webflow. Yes, Webflow is a visual builder, but it also teaches you how to build with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So although I wasn't writing code then, fundamentally I understood how the front end of websites works. And there are a lot of other no-code tools that teach similar principles, and also some don't. Some have their own weird way of working, and when you learn those, you're basically only learning that tool. So that is something to think about. So after I had that understanding of front end, I wanted to push what I could do there. And that's where you have tools such as like Zapier, Integromat, which is now called Make.com. And these are automation or workflow builders. And what that basically means is that it allows us to move data around, change it, do things with data, transform it, connect apps up, a whole bunch of different stuff. Essentially, this is like the plumbing or pipes of software. So what this taught me, again, without actually writing the code, is how fundamentally backends of apps work. I spent a bit of time as well building on apps like Bubble, which combine the front end and back end flows all in one app. So I know we're zigzagging a lot here, but the main thing here is that when I was using a bunch of these different no-code apps, I was still learning how apps fundamentally worked, how the front end connects to the back end, how data is stored and passed, how databases work, and how things should look. One other thing that helped me as well is I worked as a product manager for about 4 years. So I worked with software engineers, building software with them, again, having to fundamentally understand and speak to them about how that software works. And to be honest, that wasn't a huge part of where I am now, but it helps. So now the year's 2025. I can take all this conceptual language of how apps work, and I can create a bunch of prompts into Cursor and have Cursor do the heavy lifting, have it write the code, and essentially lifting the barriers to building anything now. No more being restricted by certain apps or certain edge cases, which is wonderful. So I've been building for about 6 months now in Cursor. There still has been a massive learning curve. Creating React projects, Python projects, I've been doing hackathons, and I've been spending a lot of time in Cursor. So it's not like I've just walked in and suddenly I'm, proficient in building React apps. There's been a lot of banging my head against the wall, a lot of problems that I've run into that to an experienced engineer would be able to solve quickly, but for me it's taken a long time. Obviously you learn as you go, and now I have a pretty good grasp of a React project, how it works, how the file structure is set, and if you know what that looks like, then you might be seeing this project here and seeing something obvious, but that's just part of stumbling through and learning as you go. And I think with Claude, with Cursor, when you run into these things, you can use these to unblock yourself. So yeah, in a way this is a new form of low-code, no-code development. I think it's incredible that it can open up development to so many more people now. So again, if you do have some experience with no-code tools and you're not sure whether you can get into Cursor, hopefully this is a new way of thinking for you. You don't need to join a programming bootcamp or learn syntax or learn LeetCode. I definitely wouldn't have had the patience to do that. And fair play to anyone who has traditionally learnt that and traditionally learnt JavaScript and all that good stuff. The last thing I'd say as well is that there are some kind of building blocks to getting into Cursor. Tools like Bolt, Lovable, or V0 sort of bridge the gap between no-code. And yeah, I'm going to be creating a bunch of other content about helping people who are on the fence get more into AI development. So if you're interested in that and you're still here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. I'm new to the YouTube game, so it does help out. Until then, all the best and good luck.